the biggest issue I see with a lot of people. They're not thinking about what muscles are working. They're just thinking, let's just rep this out. Let's do marathon reps. Let's just get the weight from A to B. But what muscle is working? Let's initiate with that muscle. A row is a great example of this. People usually just jerk it. Or a pull down, people usually just jerk it. What muscle is working? So then what needs to move first? The shoulder blade. And then what? It's not the hand, it's the elbow.
Take it to a glute bridge. It's an easy one. It's a really, really easy one to pick up. Exactly as you say, if we're just throwing weight on the bar and achieving personal bests week in, week out, that's brilliant, right? That's great for motivation. Back to the gym again, we want to hit a little bit more consistent as well, which again is great. You can stick with one exercise, seeing some continuous improvements with it for say 8 weeks, you're going to see some improvement. However, and a glute bridge is a really good example, there becomes a point with a glute bridge or a hip thrust, there becomes a point where we're lifting so much on the bar and focusing on lifting so much weight that actually the tension and the sensation of that contraction actually goes away from the glutes and more, not necessarily onto other muscles, although we can talk about activation in a second, but more the focus goes away from the glutes and the focus becomes on moving the weight. So it becomes more of an external focus rather than an internal focus. It becomes more of a performance focus rather than actually what muscles are contracting, what muscles are actually working. Now we know from research the more internal focus we have, the more focus that we have on a certain muscle contracting, the more activation, the more EMG we're going to get within that muscle, and arguably more targeted tension within that muscle as well.